Welcome to my channel. I want to thank every single person that has subscribed to my channel. I'm amazed by the number of people that have. I thank you for liking my videos, for commenting on them, and especially for sharing them, because I don't do any self-promotion. So anybody that comes to my channel comes because either you shared it with them or they saw it on YouTube somehow. I don't know how all that works. I don't understand it fully, but I keep getting more people subscribing all the time, so I just have to say thank you to each and every one of you and let you know that I really do appreciate it. Tonight I want to talk about something that's in the current events, what's going on in Gaza. And I want you to see something that to me is utterly disgusting.
When Hamas militants started their offensive on Israel in the early hours of Saturday morning, civilian settlements were some of their main targets. By the time they were finished, more than 1,000 people were dead. 4 days on from this horrific attack, survivors are still processing what happened.
So, do you understand what happened here? Hamas targeted civilians, settlements, not the military. They targeted civilians. There is no way to describe something like this other than it's evil. And it should never be allowed in our world. What needs to happen to Hamas is they need to be utterly and completely and thoroughly destroyed. So there's not one human being left who is a member of Hamas. Now you may think that's tough. But if you'll just stop and think for a minute, what would have happened if we hadn't taken that attitude towards Adolf Hitler? We might be speaking German today if the people of the 1940s had been as gutless as the people of our generation are. The people of this generation, the people that are alive today. Gutless, absolutely gutless people who want to forgive and say it's okay and rationalize and excuse absolutely evil and abhorrent behavior.
They came into every home, they came into every room, every place. Those they couldn't take out and murder, they would burn the house with them inside so they can die.
You know who else did that? You know who burned Jews inside their houses? The Nazis. That's what the Nazis did. You understand? This is evil. This is like Adolf Hitler. That it is that level of evil. And it needs to be eradicated.
Shot children, babies, old people, anywhere. No one was safe from it. The first victim was a 90-year-old woman who was sitting on a porch, saw them come in, and she got shot.
We were in this panic room for, I think, about over 30 hours. And then they broke windows, started shooting everywhere. I think at some point they shot at the door of the panic room.
Bodies are still scattered on the ground of some Israeli settlements as the army starts to assess the devastation. During the assault, Hamas kidnapped more than 100 people, and concern for their safety is growing as the militants threaten to execute some of their hostages if airstrikes on civilians in Gaza continue without warning.
Now, I want to ask you one question. What would your reaction be if the Israelis went into the Gaza Strip and started kidnapping women and children and babies and beheading them? You'd be outraged, right? Because that should never happen. If you're making excuses for Hamas doing that, you need to look deep inside your heart because you are filled with evil. Look what they did at Harvard. You see this? Harvard students draw outrage by claiming Israel is to blame. Israel is to blame for the Hamas attacks. Think about that. The quote logic of this is that because Israel holds Palestine in what they call apartheid, and they don't control, and they supposedly control Palestine, which I don't even know how you come up with that, because Palestine has been run by the Palestinians for a long time. But the logic, so-called logic, is that because Israel is so mean to the Palestinians that justifies murdering old people, beheading babies, kidnapping people, and using them as hostages to try and keep the Israelis from responding to their attack. If you're making excuses for any of this, if you are thinking in your head that there is justification for what Hamas is doing right now, then don't come back to my channel, because your head is so messed up. You need to go get help somewhere. You need to get yourself right with God, because if you had any understanding at all about what evil is and what Satan is, you would know that the Hamas attacks are the most satanic, evil, horrendous thing that any human being can do to another human being, regardless of the provocation. You hear that? Regardless. Don't come to me and try to convince me that Hamas is right in doing this, that Hamas can be excused for doing this, that Hamas has any moral justification for doing this. It is outright horrendous, disgusting, putrid evil, and it needs to be stamped out. It needs to be utterly and completely destroyed, just like we did to Nazis. You understand that? Just like we did to the Nazis, because it's the same evil. And for those of you that know that it's evil, I pray that God will keep you healthy and well, and cause you to be abundant, and that He will keep you safe from harm, and that He will bless you and your family and everyone that you love. And I pray that you will be anxious for nothing, but in all things, through prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, you will make your requests be made known to God. And the peace that passes all understanding will keep your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. This is the Vietnam Era Vet out.